Your checked luggage is not safe. In 2026, this is how your checked luggage gets opened without breaking the lock. And the worst part is this. Most travelers never even realize it happened until something is missing. In 2026, baggage theft is not random anymore. It is calculated, quiet, opportunistic, and in many cases, preventable. Every day, thousands of bags move through airports around the world. They pass through scanners, handlers, conveyor systems, and holding areas. They are loaded, unloaded, sorted, transferred. Most bags arrive safely, but some do not. And here is what most people get wrong. It is not just bad luck. There is a pattern behind it. Some bags are more likely to be opened. Some bags are more likely to be delayed. Some bags are more likely to be targeted. And it often comes down to small details most travelers completely overlook. The type of suitcase you use, how you pack it, when you check it in, even how it looks on the outside. These are not random details. They send signals. Quiet signals that tell a story about your bag. A story about how easy it is to access. A story about what might be inside. A story about how much attention it deserves. And once your bag is out of your sight, everything changes. You lose control. You cannot see what is happening in real time. You cannot control who handles it. You cannot track every moment of its journey. And if something goes missing, proving it becomes a different battle entirely. Because there is no clear moment, no clear location, no clear evidence, just a gap. And in those gaps, things happen. Air travel is evolving. Airports are busier than ever. Systems are faster, more automated, more efficient. But with that speed comes something most travelers never think about. Gaps. Small moments where your luggage becomes vulnerable. Moments between scanning and sorting. Moments between loading and transfer. Moments where your bag is moving but not being watched closely. And the people who understand these gaps know exactly how to take advantage of them. They do not need force. They do not need time. They rely on speed, convenience, and low visibility. That is what makes this risk so different. It is not loud. It is not obvious. It is quiet. It is fast. And in many cases, it goes completely unnoticed. But here is the good news. You do not need expensive gear. You do not need complicated tricks. And you do not need to stop checking luggage completely. You just need to understand how the system really works. Because once you see how easily a bag can be accessed, you start to realize something important. Most luggage is not truly protected. It only looks protected. The lock gives confidence. The zipper looks secure. The bag feels safe. But that feeling can be misleading. And that false sense of security is what makes travelers easy targets. Because when you believe your bag is fully protected, you stop paying attention to the small details that actually matter. In this video, I will show you exactly what puts your checked luggage at risk in 2026. The common mistakes that quietly increase your chances of being targeted, and the simple steps you can take today to make your bag harder to touch. No complex tools, no expensive upgrades, just smarter decisions. Because the difference between a safe bag and a vulnerable one is not luck. It is awareness. Awareness of how the system works. Awareness of where the gaps are. Awareness of the signals your bag is sending. And there is one mistake that increases your risk more than anything else. Almost everyone does it, without thinking, without realizing the impact. And once you understand it, you will never pack the same way again. Let us start there. Number 1. The zipper weakness most people do not know. Your lock might be completely useless, not because it is broken, not because it is cheap, but because it may be protecting the wrong thing. Most travelers rely on luggage locks to keep their belongings safe. It feels secure. It looks secure. And when you see that small lock holding both zipper pulls together, your mind tells you one thing. This bag is protected, but here is the problem. The lock only holds the zipper pulls together. It does not fully protect the zipper track itself. And that is the weakness most travelers never think about. With pressure in the wrong place, some zipper teeth can be forced apart. No broken lock, no torn fabric, no obvious damage. The suitcase may still look normal from the outside. The lock may still be hanging exactly where you left it. But the bag could have been accessed already. That is what makes this risk so dangerous. It does not always look like a break-in. It can look like nothing happened. You arrive at your hotel. You place your suitcase on the bed. You open it calmly. At first, everything seems fine. Then you notice something is missing. Maybe a charger, maybe a small device, maybe a watch. Nothing dramatic, but enough to ruin your peace. And now the questions begin. Where did it happen? Who touched the bag? Was it before the flight, during transfer, after landing? The painful part is this. You may never know, because there is no broken lock to show. No torn zipper, no clear proof. Just a bag that looks normal and items that are no longer there. That is why relying on a lock alone can be a mistake. A lock can slow someone down, but it should not be your only protection. Think of your luggage as a system, not one single solution. First, look at the type of suitcase you use. Hard-shell luggage with stronger zipper tracks can reduce this weakness. Some bags are also designed with reinforced closures that make forced access harder. Second, check the zipper quality before you travel. Loose zipper tracks, weak stitching, soft corners, and poor seams can make a bag easier to tamper with. Third, add visible deterrents. A luggage strap, a tamper seal, a cable tie, or any simple indicator that shows if the bag has been opened. These things do not make your bag untouchable, but they make it less convenient, and that matters. Most opportunistic theft depends on speed. If your bag looks easy, it becomes more attractive. If your bag looks difficult, it is more likely to be ignored. So do not let a small lock give you false confidence. It is useful, but it is not enough. Because sometimes the real weakness is not the lock. It is the zipper behind it. Number 2. High-value signals that attract attention. Some bags stand out before they are even loaded, and not in a good way. In a busy airport, thousands of bags move through the same system every day. Different shapes, different sizes, different colors. But most of them blend in. They move quietly through the system without drawing attention. Except a few. The ones that look newer, cleaner, more expensive. The ones that quietly signal something without saying a word. Think about it. When a suitcase looks fresh out of the store, it sends a message. No scratches, no wear, no travel marks. It gives the impression that what is inside might also be new and valuable. High-end clothing, new electronics, expensive accessories. Whether that assumption is true or not does not matter. The signal has already been sent. And in environments where speed and volume matter, attention naturally shifts toward anything that stands out. Not because someone is focused on you personally, but because your bag is easier to notice. And easier to notice often means easier to remember. This does not mean every new suitcase will be targeted, and it does not mean older bags are completely safe. But it shows something important. Visibility matters. In high-traffic airport systems, anything that draws attention can increase exposure. The more your bag stands out, the more it becomes part of the visible layer. And that is where risk starts to grow. So what can you do? First, aim for a more neutral appearance. You do not need to damage your bag or make it look old. You just need to avoid anything that looks too perfect, too polished, too attention-grabbing. Second, choose simple colors, black, gray, dark blue, or any tone that blends easily with other luggage. Avoid bright, glossy finishes that reflect light and attract the eye. Third, remove anything that makes your bag look brand new. Store tags, plastic covers, shiny surfaces. These small details matter more than you think. Fourth, reduce shine. A matte finish looks less noticeable than a glossy one. and less noticeable often means less attention. This is not about hiding your luggage. It is about reducing unnecessary attention. Because in many cases, attention creates opportunity. The goal is simple. Let your bag move through the system without being remembered. Because the less your bag stands out, the less likely it is to become a point of focus. And in an environment where thousands of bags are moving at once, blending in is often your strongest advantage. Number 3. Why overpacked bags raise suspicion. A stuffed suitcase sends a message, and it is not the message you think. In a busy airport system, luggage is constantly scanned, sorted, and handled, often in seconds. There is no time for deep inspection at every stage, so the system relies on patterns. And one of the most noticeable patterns is an overpacked bag. When a suitcase is crammed, bulging, or struggling to close, it stands out immediately. Not because it is wrong, but because it looks different, and different always gets attention. An overpacked bag usually sends 2 signals. First, it suggests there is a lot inside. Second, it suggests disorganization. Both signals can increase attention, not because someone is targeting you, but because your bag becomes harder to process quickly. When luggage goes through scanning systems, clarity matters. A neatly packed bag creates clean shapes, clear layers, predictable structure. But a tightly packed bag does the opposite. Items overlap. Shapes blend together. Everything looks compressed and unclear. And when something looks unclear, it often gets a closer look. That extra attention may be brief, but it still increases exposure. This does not mean every overpacked bag will be opened, but it does mean it is more likely to stand out compared to a well-arranged bag. And standing out is what you want to avoid. There is another issue most people ignore. Pressure. When a suitcase is forced shut, it creates tension across the zipper, seams, and corners. This pressure can slightly distort the shape of the bag. Now your suitcase no longer looks smooth and balanced. It looks uneven, and that uneven shape makes it more noticeable as it moves through the system. So how do you fix this? First, pack with structure. Do not just fill space. Build layers. Place similar items together. Create order inside the bag. Second, leave breathing room. Your suitcase should close easily. No force. No sitting on it. No pushing the zipper into place. That small space inside keeps the bag looking clean and balanced. Third, use simple tools, packing cubes, compartments, or even basic grouping. These keep items in place and prevent shifting. They also help maintain a clear internal layout. Fourth, avoid last-minute stuffing. That one extra item often creates uneven pressure and breaks the structure of your packing. This is not about carrying less. It is about packing better. Because a well-organized suitcase does 2 things. It makes your trip easier, and it reduces unnecessary attention. In a fast-moving system, clarity reduces friction, and less friction means fewer interruptions. So the goal is simple. Make your bag easy to process, because the easier it is to process, the less likely it is to be noticed. Number 4. The tracking myth. Tracking your bag will not stop it from being opened. It only tells you where it is, not what is happening to it. In 2026, more travelers are placing tracking devices inside checked luggage. On the surface, it feels like a smart move. You can see your bag location. You can confirm it made the flight. You can follow it across cities. That visibility creates a sense of control. But here is what most people misunderstand. Tracking is reactive, not preventive. It shows where your luggage is after it has already been handled, after it has already moved through the system, and sometimes after something has already happened. A tracker will not alert you if your bag is opened. It will not tell you if something inside has been removed, and it will not stop someone from accessing it. Imagine landing at your destination. You check your phone. Your bag is at the airport, exactly where it should be. You walk to baggage claim. You pick it up. Everything looks normal. Nothing feels wrong. But later, when you unpack, something is missing. Your tracker worked perfectly, but it did not prevent anything. That is the difference between knowing and protecting. Tracking gives you information, but it does not create resistance, and resistance is what actually reduces risk. Most opportunistic access happens quickly. It depends on speed. It depends on convenience. It depends on low risk. If a bag can be opened in seconds without drawing attention, it becomes a better option. If it takes longer or looks difficult, it is more likely to be ignored. So when your only layer of protection is a tracker, you are solving the wrong problem. You are preparing for after, instead of reducing the chance of it happening at all. That is why tracking should never stand alone. It should be part of a system. Use it for recovery. Use it to locate delayed luggage. Use it for peace of mind when your bag is out of sight. But combine it with deterrence. Add visible seals. Use structured packing. Reinforce closures. Make your bag look less convenient to access. These small steps create friction. They slow things down. And in most cases, that is enough to shift attention away from your bag. Because the goal is not just to know where your luggage is. The goal is to make it less appealing to interfere with in the first place. If your bag looks easy, it is more likely to be approached. If it looks time-consuming, it is more likely to be skipped. So do not rely on tracking alone. Use it wisely, but build protection around it, because prevention is where most people fail, and where smart travelers win. Number 5. No tamper evidence means silent access. Your bag could be opened and you would never know. No broken lock, no torn fabric, no obvious sign. That is one of the biggest risks travelers overlook. In many cases, if a bag is opened, it can be closed again cleanly. The zipper is aligned. The lock is still attached. The outside looks the same. So when you get your luggage back, everything appears normal. Nothing looks out of place. Nothing feels urgent. But inside, something could be different. A small item missing. Something slightly moved. Or that quiet feeling that your bag is not exactly how you packed it. You pause. You look again. But there is no clear proof. So you move on. That is the problem with silent access. When there is no visible sign, there is no clear moment of awareness. And without awareness, there is no action. You cannot report what you cannot confirm. You cannot react to what you did not see. And that is what makes this risk so effective. It hides in plain sight. Your bag travels through multiple stages. Check-in, screening, handling, transfers, storage. Each stage involves movement. Each movement creates a small window. And in those small windows, access can happen quietly. Not always, but enough to matter. So how do you solve a problem you cannot see? You make it visible. You add a layer that tells you if something changed. Tamper evidence does exactly that. It does not always stop access completely, but it removes the silence. It gives you a clear signal. Something was touched. Something was opened. Something changed. And that awareness shifts everything. Because now you are not guessing, you know. Simple tools can do this. Cable ties, tamper seals, or even a unique way of positioning your zipper pulls. These create a before and after. If the seal is broken, replaced, or missing, you notice it immediately. If the zipper alignment has changed, it becomes obvious. Now your bag has a visible story. It shows whether it stayed closed or not, and that alone can reduce risk. Because most opportunistic access depends on being unnoticed. If there is a chance of leaving evidence, the risk increases. And when risk increases, interest drops. That is how deterrence works. You are not making your bag impossible to access. You are making it less convenient, less quiet, less attractive. This is a small step most travelers ignore, but it creates a level of control that was not there before. It turns uncertainty into awareness. And awareness is what allows you to act. Because the moment you can see a problem, you can respond to it. and that is something silent access takes away. So do not leave your bag without a signal. Give yourself a way to know, because what you cannot see is where the real risk begins. Number 6. The biggest mistake is checking valuables. This is what actually gets bags targeted. Not the airport, not the airline, not even the route. It is what you put inside your bag. Electronics, jewelry, expensive accessories. These are the items that carry the highest risk in checked luggage, not because every bag is searched, but because these items are small, valuable, and easy to remove without being noticed immediately. They do not take time to access. They do not create bulk. They can disappear in seconds, and that is what makes them attractive. Once your bag leaves your hand at check-in, everything changes. You lose visibility. You do not see who handles it. You do not see where it sits. You do not see what happens in between. Your bag moves through multiple points. Each point is a transition. Each transition is a small window, and in those windows, access can happen quietly. Not always, but enough to matter. Now think about the nature of valuable items. A watch, a pair of wireless earbuds, a phone, a small camera. They are easy to carry, easy to conceal, and often packed in places that are not checked immediately when you open your bag. That is why they are at higher risk. You arrive at your destination. You pick up your luggage. Everything looks normal. You get to your hotel. You open your bag. At first, nothing stands out. Then you realize something is missing. Not everything. Just one small item. And that is where the problem begins. There is no clear moment, no clear location, no clear proof. And without that, recovery becomes extremely difficult. Airlines process thousands of bags every day. Without clear evidence and timing, tracing a missing item is almost impossible. That is why prevention matters more than anything else. And the rule is simple. If it is valuable, do not check it. Keep electronics with you. Keep jewelry with you. Keep important documents with you. Keep anything you cannot afford to lose in your carry-on, where you can see it, where you can control it, where it stays with you from start to finish. This may require planning. It may require reorganizing how you pack, but it removes the biggest risk completely. Think of your checked luggage differently, not as a secure vault, but as replaceable space. Clothes, shoes, toiletries, basic items. Things that can be replaced if something goes wrong. Because the moment something valuable goes into your checked bag, you are taking a risk you do not need to take. And in most cases, that risk is avoidable. Smart travelers do not rely on luck. They remove unnecessary exposure. And this is one of the easiest ways to do it. Number 7. The flagged bag packing pattern. Messy packing can get your bag opened. Not because someone is judging how you pack, but because your luggage moves through systems that depend on speed and clarity. Modern baggage systems are fast, very fast. Bags move through scanners, sorting points, and handling areas in seconds. There is no time to study every bag in detail. So the system relies on patterns. Clear patterns move quickly. Unclear patterns stand out. A neatly packed suitcase creates structure. Items are grouped. Shapes are consistent. Layers are easy to read. Everything has a place, and that makes the bag easier to process. But a disorganized bag does the opposite. Items overlap. Shapes mix together. Density becomes uneven. There is no clear structure. From the outside, it may look like a normal bag, but inside the system, it looks different. And different gets attention. In a scanning environment, clarity matters. The clearer the internal layout, the easier it is to pass through without delay. But when the contents look cluttered or irregular, the system slows down. And when something slows down, it often gets a second look. This does not mean messy packing will always cause a problem, but it does increase the chance of extra attention, and extra attention increases exposure. More handling, more movement, more chances for the bag to be opened and closed again. That is where risk begins to build. There is also a physical effect most people ignore. When items are packed randomly, they shift. Movement inside the bag creates uneven pressure. That pressure changes the shape of the suitcase. Now the bag looks less stable and less predictable. Again, it stands out. So, how do you reduce this risk? First, create structure inside your bag. Do not just fill space. Organize it. Group similar items together. Second, use packing cubes or compartments. They keep items in place. They prevent shifting. They create clear sections inside your luggage. Third, build your suitcase in layers. Clothing in one section. Shoes in another. Accessories separated. This creates balance and clarity. Fourth, avoid last-minute stuffing. That one extra item often disrupts the entire structure. It creates uneven pressure and breaks the clean layout you built. This is not about perfection. It is about predictability. Predictable luggage is easier to scan, easier to sort, easier to move through the system, and easier processing means less unnecessary handling. The goal is simple. Make your bag easy to understand, because the easier it is to understand, the less attention it gets, and the less attention it gets, the lower your risk. Number 8. Timing mistakes that increase risk. When you check your bag matters more than you think, because timing does not only affect your boarding gate, it affects how your luggage is handled from the moment it leaves your hand. Early in a flight schedule, airports often run in a controlled rhythm, fewer crowds, fewer bags, more space in the system. That space creates order. Every checked bag goes through a chain of steps: tagging, scanning, sorting, routing, loading. When the system is not overloaded, each step has time. Time to scan correctly, time to route properly, time to place bags with care. That leads to more accuracy, more consistency, and fewer mistakes. But as departure times stack up, everything begins to change. More passengers arrive at once. More bags enter the system at the same time. The flow becomes tighter. The system compresses. And that is where late check-in creates a different environment. Not because anything is intentionally wrong, but because pressure increases. Handlers process luggage faster. Conveyors move continuously. There is less pause between steps, and the margin for careful handling becomes smaller. When time is limited, decisions become faster. And when decisions become faster, attention becomes narrower. Small details get missed. A tag that could be adjusted is left as it is. A bag that could be placed carefully is moved quickly instead. It still works. But it is not the same level of control. From your side, everything feels normal. You check in. Your bag is accepted. You make your flight. But behind the scenes, your bag has entered a more crowded system. Less space, less separation, less time between handling points. That does not mean something will go wrong, but it does mean the conditions are less controlled. And less control always increases risk slightly. There is another factor. Late checked bags often move through faster channels. They may skip the slower, more structured flow. They are catching up. That urgency changes how they are handled. So what is the simplest way to reduce this risk? Check in early. Give your bag time. Early check-in allows your luggage to move at a normal pace. It reduces pressure on the system. It allows scanning and routing to work as intended. It places your bag into a smoother flow. You do not need special tools. You do not need extra cost. You do not need complex planning. Just timing. Arrive earlier. Check in before peak rush. Let your bag enter the system when it is calm. Because when the system is calm, your bag is handled with more control, and that small difference can change the entire journey of your luggage. Number 9. The hidden danger at baggage claim. The riskiest moment is not during the flight. It is after you land. Most travelers assume that once the plane touches down, the critical part is over. You made the trip. You passed security. You arrived safely. But there is one final stage where your luggage is still exposed. Baggage claim. At baggage claim, your bag is no longer inside a controlled system. It is now in an open environment. Accessible. Visible. Surrounded by people who are all waiting for the same thing. Your bag moves from machines to people. And that shift changes everything. Suitcases appear in a continuous loop. Some are picked up immediately. Others keep moving, going around again and again. And in that repetition, opportunity can appear. Not always, but enough to matter. A traveler steps away for a moment, to check a message, to respond to a call, to look for a ride, to find a companion. It feels harmless. It feels like just a few seconds. But in that moment, attention breaks. And when they return, the bag is gone. Not delayed, not misrouted, just missing. This does not mean baggage claim is unsafe. It means it requires awareness. Because this is the first point where your bag is fully exposed in public space. There is no controlled access, no strict monitoring tied to ownership. Anyone can stand near the belt. Anyone can pick up a bag. Most people are legitimate travelers, but the environment still allows small gaps, and those gaps are where problems happen. The biggest mistake here is delay. Delay in attention. Delay in action. Delay in recognition. So how do you reduce the risk? First, arrive at the carousel early. Do not wait until the bags have already started piling up. Position yourself where you can clearly see the belt. Second, stay visually connected. Even if you are tired, even if you are distracted. Keep checking the belt. The moment your bag appears is the moment control returns to you. Third, act quickly. Remove your bag as soon as you see it. Do not let it circle multiple times. Each extra loop increases exposure. Each extra loop creates another chance for confusion or interference. Fourth, confirm before you move away. Make sure the bag you pick is yours. Check your tag. Check your mark. Be certain. This is not about fear. It is about presence. When you stay alert, you reduce opportunity. When you move quickly, you reduce exposure. Because at baggage claim, timing and attention work together. And the traveler who is present is the one who stays in control. Number 10. The identity problem. Your bag looks like everyone else's. If your bag blends in, it becomes easier to take. Not because someone is targeting you personally, but because your luggage becomes interchangeable. In most airports, many checked bags look almost identical. Black, gray, navy blue, standard shapes, standard sizes, standard designs. They all move through the same system. They all arrive on the same belt. And in a fast-moving baggage claim area, that creates a problem. When everything looks the same, recognition becomes difficult. You are no longer spotting your bag instantly. You are searching. You start looking for small clues, a handle, a sticker, a scratch, a strap, something that feels familiar. But in that moment of uncertainty, time passes. And that delay creates risk. Because while you are trying to identify your bag, it is still moving, still exposed, still available to anyone standing close. And this is where mistakes happen. Sometimes another traveler picks up your bag by accident. Not because they want to take it, but because it looks just like theirs. Same color, same size, same design. They grab it quickly and walk away. And they may not realize until much later. Other times, a bag sits on the belt longer than it should. It goes around once, then again, then again. Each time increasing its exposure, each time creating more opportunity for confusion or interference. That is the hidden risk of blending in. If you cannot identify your bag quickly, someone else may not identify it correctly either. So the solution is simple. Make your bag recognizable at a glance. Not after a few seconds. Not after a second look. Immediately. Use a bright luggage strap. Use a patterned tag. Use a distinct cover. Use something visible from a distance. Something that breaks the pattern. Something that stands out clearly among similar bags. You do not need expensive customization. You do not need luxury designs. You just need instant recognition. Because recognition reduces hesitation. It reduces confusion. And most importantly, it reduces time. The less time your bag spends unclaimed, the lower the exposure. Think about it. A bag that is picked up immediately has almost no risk at the carousel. A bag that circles multiple times is exposed again and again. So your goal is simple. See it. Recognize it. Pick it. Move. No delay. No doubt. No confusion. This is not about style. It is about clarity. Clarity at a distance. Clarity in motion. Clarity under pressure. When your bag is clear, your response becomes faster, and speed at this stage gives you control. Now step back and look at the bigger picture. How you pack. When you check in. What you carry. How your bag looks. Each one plays a role. Luggage safety in 2026 is not about one big mistake. It is about a series of small decisions. And the travelers who stay safest are not the ones who worry the most. They are the ones who notice small details and act on them. Here is the reality. Your luggage is not targeted by chance. It is selected based on three things: visibility, access, opportunity. If your bag is visible in the wrong way, it stands out. If it is easy to access, it becomes convenient. If the opportunity appears, it becomes vulnerable. But once you understand this, everything changes. You stop thinking like an average traveler. You stop relying on luck. You start making decisions that quietly reduce your risk at every stage. Because most people focus on reacting. Reacting to delays. Reacting to problems. Reacting to missing items. But the real advantage is prevention. When you start seeing the system clearly, you stop being an easy target. Travel smarter in 2026. Because it is not just about where you go, it is about how you protect what you bring with you. You can have the best trip in the world, but if your preparation is weak, one moment can change the experience. If you found this helpful, watch this next. Airport security is flagging. These 10 travelers in 2026. Subscribe for real travel strategies most people miss. Not obvious advice, but the details that actually matter in real airport systems. And I want to hear from you.
To lock a comment, tap the three
locked.
dots next to it.
If you are
From the
changing
menu,
how you
select
pack from
Lock
now
Comment.
on. Because travelers who stay prepared are always one step ahead of the system.